Your new house is on fire. Are you okay? You better call the fire department quickly. I received a call from my mother-in-law, Dana, and immediately drove my car home. It's hard to believe, but my house is burning. Why on earth? In a panic, I called Dana back. Jace is sleeping at home. Please call the fire department quickly. What? Exclaimed my confused mother-in-law Dana at home, unaware that her husband, my father-in-law Jace, is sleeping. When I asked Dana about the fire, an unexpected answer comes back. 2 years ago, I married, and this year gave birth to our son Edwards. With that, we bought our first home. Martina, we finally bought our dream home. I'll work even harder from now on. That's my husband Jace, smiling at me. We have a pretty big mortgage, so you better work hard. Joking around, we laughed together. Even now, married with a child, we can still joke like this, maintaining a good relationship. However, it's been tough building a good relationship with Dana. Dana harbors a lot of hostility towards me. This has been the case since Jace and I decided to marry and went to greet the in-laws. Nice to meet you. I'm Martina. I greeted my in-laws for the first time, nervous. Don't be so formal. Please take good care of Jace. It was my father-in-law Samuel who eased my tension. Samuel, a big, well-built man, was very gentle and kind. So, you're the woman who's come to take our Jace. Dana spat out a line straight out of a drama. Mom, that's no way to talk. Jace defended me. Jace, what about me? You're taking away the son I've raised. And scolded Dana. Dana's reaction to being scolded by Jace was shocking. I had heard from Jace before that she was overly affectionate, but this was beyond my expectations. By the way, Martina, was it? What do your parents do? Dad passed away when I was young, and Mom is a nurse. I am a nurse too, just like her. Raised by a single parent, huh? I can't entrust Jace to someone who hasn't received proper love. How rude to say such a thing upon first meeting. Yes, I was raised by a single parent, but I believe I grew up loved by my mom. If she continues to insult my mom, I thought of leaving immediately. That's when Jace stood up. Enough. No matter what you say. I'm marrying Martina. Mom, if you oppose the marriage, that's fine. But if you continue to interfere, I'll cut ties with you. Jace, why would you say that? You're abandoning me. Martina, let's just leave her and go. Jace and I left Dana, who was dramatically crying, greeted Samuel, and left the in-laws' house. I'll definitely take back Jace. I thought I heard Dana say that as we were leaving the entrance of the in-laws' house. But I decided to ignore it, feeling scared. Dana, perhaps affected by what Jace said, didn't interfere with the wedding and behaved quietly. Half a year into our marriage, pregnant, Jace and I went to report to the in-laws. Samuel was extremely happy, but Dana had another sarcastic comment. I can't believe someone raised by a single parent is having a child. Don't you even know how to love? Dana still assumes that being raised by a single parent means not receiving love. If that were true, I'd have become a troublemaker long ago. I thought about saying that to Dana, but held back. Now that you're pregnant, what about your nursing job? Quit? No, I haven't quit, but I'm taking maternity leave. You're not just dumping all the housework on Jace, are you? No, I'm not. Jace said he'd help, so we plan to share the chores. There, I knew it. Making Jace work after he's tired from his job. That's so pitiful. Jace was at a loss for words at Dana's remark. Hey, let's leave it at that. Martina and Jace are both troubled. Dana looked like she wanted to say more, but calmed down after Samuel's intervention. Please bring the grandchild over to play when they're born. Samuel said this to me with a gentle expression. Of course, we're looking forward to bringing them over. 8 months later, with Jace's help, I successfully gave birth to our son Edwards. A year later, we thought it was a bit early, but decided to buy our first home. Thinking it's better to start paying off a mortgage early, we went for it. We invited the in-laws to our home for a modest dinner party to celebrate the new house and Edward's first birthday. Wow, what a splendid house. Congratulations on the new home, and happy first birthday to Edwards. Samuel praised our home and also wished Edwards a happy birthday. As for Dana, she entered our home without saying anything and looked displeased. "Thank you for coming today." "Really? Why should we have to come for you and our grandchild? It's good to see Jace, though," Dana grumbled as she sat on the living room sofa. "So, Mom, don't talk like that. Let's have dinner instead." Jace calmed Dana down, and the dinner party started. For a while, we had a reasonably good time. Then Edward started crying, suddenly making the room noisy. "What's wrong? Are you hungry?" I rushed to Edwards and tried desperately to soothe him. But Edwards wouldn't stop crying. "Stop that loud crying! Quiet down now!" Dana suddenly yelled. "Enough! Your lack of love is why he's wailing. You can't even calm your own son. That's why I didn't want you marrying Jace." Dana kept ridiculing me for being a single parent. Angry, I retorted to Dana. "Love has nothing to do with it. Children can only communicate by crying. What's your problem with that? If you can't stand the crying, please leave." "If you insist, I'll go. I've seen Jace's face anyway. Let's go, you. Jace, staying with a worthless woman will make you worthless too. You're always welcome to come back." Dana said this and forcibly took Samuel home. Yelling at Edwards like that? She's out of line. I felt relieved that she left. "I'm really sorry about today. Mom was rude. Honestly, I didn't expect her to yell at her grandchild. I feel bad for Dad, but let's not see my parents for a while." Jace seemed to think the same as me. I was about to suggest keeping our distance. "Yeah, let's stop for a while." We talked it over and decided to sleep, exhausted from the day. 3 days later, I received a call from Dana on my mobile phone. "Hello. I'm sorry for being rude the other day. I shouldn't have yelled at Edwards. Would you like to come over to my house to make up? I've prepared a meal. Jace isn't here, but please take your time." Dana's voice was unusually gentle. I found Dana's different demeanor creepy, but decided to go to the in-laws' house. "Okay, I'll bring Edwards and head over." After driving for about 30 minutes, I arrived at the in-laws' house and pressed the doorbell, but no one came out. Is Dana not here? That's when I received another call from Dana. "Hello, I've arrived at your house, but where are you?" "Your new house is on fire. You better call the fire department." Dana said this and hung up. "My house is burning? What does she mean?" As I stood there, unable to comprehend, Dana sent a photo. It was unmistakably my house. I immediately called Dana back, but she didn't answer. "This is bad. Jace is still in the house." In panic, I kept calling Dana relentlessly. 10 minutes had passed. I didn't want to believe it, but if that photo was real, Jace was in danger. Jace had left for work in the morning but returned early, feeling unwell, and was sleeping in the upstairs bedroom. Just as I decided to ignore Dana and head home, she called back. "Why are you calling so much?" "Is it true my house is burning?" "That's what I said. Didn't I send you the photo?" "Dana, where are you? Call the fire department, please." "No need to panic. The neighbors must have called them." How can she be so nonchalant? Her son's house is burning. Jace should have been at work now, but Dana didn't know he'd come home early due to feeling ill. Dana showed no intention of calling the fire department, which angered me. If left like this, Jace could die in the fire. "Dana, listen. Jace is sleeping in my burning house. He might die." I tried to stay calm and inform Dana, still in disbelief about the fire. "What? You're lying. Why is Jace at your house? What? Jace? Jace?" Dana became frantic when I told her Jace was in the burning house. She was so distraught that she couldn't hold a coherent conversation. "Please calm down. Call the fire department first. I'm on my way. If you're still near my house, please ask the neighbors to evacuate." I told Dana to prioritize saving lives. As a nurse, I've seen many people brought in due to fires, often too late with their lungs burned and unable to breathe. If people are aware of the fire, it's good, but some might not have noticed. But Dana, still panicking, asked what to do. "That's why I'm saying I'm coming back now. Prioritize saving lives." I was so upset, more than I usually would be with Dana, but I had to act, otherwise Jace could die. The house can burn down, but Jace can't come back if he dies. I yelled at Dana over the phone and hung up. I understood the feeling of panic at the thought of your son dying. I wasn't sure I could stay composed in the same situation, but staying panicked wouldn't save Jace. He must be all right, but what if something happened? Anxious and fearful, I hurried in my car to my house. After driving for about 30 minutes from the in-laws' house, I finally arrived at mine. My house was engulfed in flames, almost unrecognizable. Please move aside, excuse me, move, please! Amidst the chaos, I heard paramedics carrying someone on a stretcher. It must be Jace. I approached the paramedics. He might already be a charred body. Excuse me, I live here. Was someone just carried out from this house? When I asked the paramedics with a trembling voice, they showed me the person they were carrying on the stretcher. My fear was realized. It was Jace being carried out. Jace! Jace! Answer me! Jace, lying on the stretcher, was covered in burns, and it was unclear if he was even alive. I wanted to go to the hospital with Jace in the ambulance, but I was told I had to stay for a scene investigation. Dana also had to be questioned, being the first to discover the fire at our house. After about an hour of investigation, I was finally allowed to leave and hurriedly took Edwards to the hospital where Jace was taken. At the reception, I was told Jace was in a private room, and I immediately went there. Jace, this can't be true. Entering the room, I muttered in disbelief. Jace was lying motionless, his body wrapped in bandages. I thought Jace had died. Overcome with grief, I hugged him and cried. Why did this happen, Jace? Please respond.
Don't kill me off. It hurts. Let go.
Jace's voice was weak, but he responded. Jace was alive, contrary to what I had feared. Overwhelmed with relief, I hugged him even tighter. I thought you were gone. I'm so glad you're alive. Jace's doctor said that while his burns were severe, his life was not in danger, and he could return to daily life after a period of hospitalization. However, there was a chance that he could suffer some after effects, especially on his badly burned left side. Jace himself probably didn't want to believe that there could be lasting effects. But for me, just having Jace alive was a blessing. The mere thought of losing him was unbearable. That night, I was allowed to stay in Jace's hospital room. The next day, I couldn't shake off my suspicion about Dana, who had called me first about the fire. Normally, if her son's house was burning, she would have called the fire department before telling me. Moreover, she had called me to the in-laws' house, but she wasn't there, and it was she who informed me about the fire at our house. I don't want to think about it, but maybe? Reluctantly, I called Dana and went to the in-laws' house. Samuel and Dana invited me in to discuss the previous day's events. How is Jace? He is badly burned, but his life is not in danger. There might be after effects, though. Dana covered her face with her hands, visibly shaken. Her expression was unreadable, but she was clearly disturbed. Sensing something suspicious, I discreetly turned on the voice recorder on my mobile phone. I want to ask you directly. Yesterday, you called me to this house, but when I arrived, I didn't see you or your car, and there was no response when I rang the doorbell. You were the one who told me my house was on fire, right? How did you know my house, which is a 30-minute drive away, was burning? It was a coincidence. I was going to pick you up. But I said I was coming over on the phone, didn't I? Why didn't you tell me you were coming to pick me up then? I thought of it after hanging up the phone. These things happen. Is that so? Let's assume that's the reason. But why didn't you call the fire department before telling me? Normally, if your son's house was on fire, you'd call them, right? But you didn't do anything until I said Jace was sleeping there. You couldn't have set the fire, could you? I had long suspected Dana might have been responsible for the fire at our house. I wanted her to clearly deny any involvement. But after my question, Dana stopped talking.
Come on, Martina is asking. Say something.
Samuel urged Dana to respond, who had fallen silent.
It's your fault.
Finally, Dana slowly began to speak.
You took Chase away from me. I thought if the house burned, your relationship would sour and he would come back to me. But I never thought Jace would be asleep there.
I wanted her to deny it. My wish crumbled away, tragically unfulfilled. It seems Dana was indeed the one who set the fire. I can't believe you actually started the fire. I've recorded your statement on a voice recorder. I'm going to take this to the police. As I showed the voice recorder to Dana, I declared my intention to go to the police. Honestly, I'm relieved Jace is alive. But what if he had died in the fire? What were you planning to do then? You would have killed your own beloved son.
I'm sorry,
Dana apologized in a weak voice.
Don't mess with me, idiot. What have you done?
Usually calm, Samuel now struck Dana in a fit of anger.
You caused trouble for others, and even tried to kill your own son. I was a fool to marry someone like you. I don't ever want to see your face again. We're getting divorced today.
What? Dana was stunned by Samuel's sudden declaration of divorce. Unable to say anything, just looked down.
So your silence means you agree to the divorce. Then get out of here.
Please, I'm sorry. I'm truly sorry. I regret it. Please don't divorce me. Don't abandon me. Dana pleaded with Samuel, crying.
Abandon you? I can't live with someone like you who tries to burn down her son's house.
Disgusted, Samuel rejected Dana's pleas. Indeed, Samuel was right. Dana, what you've done deserves Samuel divorcing you. You might spend many years, even decades, in prison. Dana fell silent at my words. Perhaps she hadn't realized that her actions could lead to a prison sentence. Collapsing to her knees, Dana, usually full of snide remarks, was now silent, seemingly losing her sanity. Well, I'll be going now. Good luck with your prison life. Leaving the in-laws' house, I went straight to the police station and submitted the voice recorder recording as evidence. That recording became the decisive evidence, and Dana was arrested that day. Despite her constant criticism of me for being a child of a single parent lacking love, it turned out she was the one devoid of it, burning down her son's newly bought house, almost killing him. For someone who could set fire to her son's house, there was no place to talk about love and care. She can reflect for a lifetime in prison. Looking at the ruins of my burnt house, I thought this. Having lost our home, we decided to stay at my parents' house while Jace was hospitalized. It's been a while since I've been back home. We've decided to rent an apartment once Jace is discharged, so we'll stay with my mom for a while. A month later, Dana, charged with arson, was sentenced to life imprisonment. Although we wouldn't receive any compensation or cover Jace's medical expenses due to her life sentence, I was happier knowing we would never see Dana again. Fortunately, Jace recovered well and didn't suffer any lasting effects. The scars from the burns were still painful, but the doctor assured us they would heal over time. A week later, Jace was discharged.
Can we stop by my parents' house before we go to our new apartment?
Jace asked, and we decided to visit the in-laws' house first.
Martina, Jace, I'm so sorry.
Samuel immediately apologized deeply as he welcomed us.
I've divorced Dana. She'll pay for her crimes alone in prison. I've told Jace over the phone.
He handed me a large bag.
It's not much, but please accept this. You lost your new house and had a mortgage. I can't make up for what my ex-wife did, but I feel responsible.
I looked at the contents of the bag he handed me. Inside the bag was $300,000. I can't accept this. Shocked by the amount, I refused.
Please, take it. I wish it could be more. It's my responsibility, too.
Reluctantly, I accepted the money, overwhelmed by Samuel's insistence.
See you later, Dad.
As Jace and I were about to leave, Samuel stopped us.
Martina, I know it's hard to come here with everything that's happened. But would you visit sometimes with Jace and Edwards? It might be selfish to ask.
Of course we'll visit, Samuel. Please play with Edwards. With tears, Samuel nodded in agreement. Our dream home was gone, but as a family, we resolved to start over from scratch, dreaming of one day living in our own home again.